So Indian writing in English. You all can see the screen, right? Just tell me if any of the scenes are not seen, any of the slides are not seen. Rest I think is fine. Indian writing in English. To know the full structure of Indian writing in English, we shall look at the phases or the historical background. How did it come about? So these are roughly the four phases of Indian writing in English. For our understanding, it's the colonial era, 1600s to 1947. Then you have English language during independence, then the post-independence era, and finally futures of English in India. So if you're looking at early contacts, 1600s to 1947. English was introduced by the East India Company. The East India Company was established in India. Initially, English was primarily used by British traders and officials for conducting the trade within India. British set up trading posts in cities like Madras, Calcutta, Bombay, which became the centers of interaction between Indians and English speakers. तो ट्रेड का बहाना लेकर पूरी गवर्नेंस करने लग गए ये लोग. But over here, what you're getting to see is English has been introduced. The first instance of English coming into India or being brought in front of Indian people, and we learned the language then. Then you have the phase during independence. So this is English education and the emergence of an English educated elite. So elite is also a class. इरफान जी का एक डायलॉग है हिंदी मीडियम में कि इस देश में अंग्रेज़ी ज़बान नहीं क्लास है, एंड यहाँ भी वही देखने को मिल रहा है. इन्होंने एक क्लास बना दिया. हाउ डिड दे मेक इट? लेट्स हैव अ लुक. The British established schools and colleges that provided education in English. This created a class of English educated Indians who had access to modern knowledge and ideas. Many of these individuals later became leaders in the independence movement. Then you have the post-independence era. Over here you're seeing the continuation of English as the official language or the language of governance. Then it's also the language of higher education. High school में, college में, उसके आगे की पढ़ाई में English is the main language. Then you have English literature and creative writing by Indians, by Indian writers. And finally, the future of English in India, that is trade, business and economy, and education. So these are the four phases, and now we will look at a few more important factors. Literature and creative writing. To see how literature started or creative writing by Indians, by Indian writers started, there are a few more important points like English education. So we will look at that. Evolution of Indian fiction in English in brief. The origin and development of India or Indian writing in English took place during the consolidation of British rule in India. The three most important sources that fostered the beginning of Indian writing in English are the educational reforms by British government, the efforts of missionaries, and the response of our own people, the upper class Indians who accepted the English language, literature in India with a lot of enthusiasm. And then you have the Charter Act of 1813 and 1835 English Education Act of William Bentinck, which gave way towards an attempt to change and improve the conditions of the servants of East India Company. The approval of the Charter Act by the English government made England responsible for the educational upliftment of the natives. English became the medium of education in India, and English literature was established as a disciplinary subject in the educational institutes in India after the English Education Act was initiated by Thomas Babington Macaulay. Then you have some Indians too in this. So, Indian English fiction is believed to have emerged during the years of the early 20th century. most of the early practitioners of Indian English literature were mostly British. And this is not surprising since India was perhaps not in a condition under British dominion to produce the excellence in native English language and literature. Although there were many Indian exponents who arrived some time later, but the history of Indian English literature belonged solely to the elite British section of the society. लेकिन ये चीज़ बाद में बदला भी, हमारे इंडियन राइटर्स भी आ गए जो इंडियन थे, इंडियन ओरिजिन के थे, इंडियन थे, एंड उन्होंने अंग्रेज़ी में ब्रिटिश के ख़िलाफ़ लिखा है, इंडिया की ग्लोरी के बारे में लिखा है, उनको अंग्रेज़ों को उन्हीं के भाषा में मात दिया है. तो वील हैव अ लुक एट दैट टू. फर्स्ट वी हैड द वर्क्स ऑफ जॉर्ज ऑरवेल, रुडयार्ड किपलिंग, जिम कॉर्बेट, which offered a preliminary push towards the growth of Indian English writings. That was later developed by other British writers. But then you have Indians also. So you have the contribution made by Rabindranath Tagore, Michael Madhusudan Dutt, Bankim Chandra Chatterjee, R.C. Dutt, Raja Rao, Jawaharlal Nehru, and Mahatma Gandhi, amongst others, consolidated the historical maturity of English literature in India. They represented us, the natives, and served as the pre-independent spokesperson in delineating the vision of life then. So, as I have said, कुछ ऐसे हो गए हैं हालात कि इंडियंस ने अंग्रेज़ों को दे दी अपने ही ज़ुबान में मात. Now we will see a few more important factors that contribute to the growth of English in India. So here is the British contribution. When the British control grew over India, as we saw earlier, वो ट्रेड के लिए आए थे लेकिन गवर्नेंस का भी पूरा कंट्रोल ले लिया, इस तरह की चालबाजी थी उनकी. तो what they have done is they have used it as the language for official governance, documents, court proceedings, administrative affairs. The Britishers have introduced English language education to train clerks and officials, ensuring a pool of individuals proficient in English to assist the administration of the country. तो बेसिकली बटलर या क्लर्क बनाने गए थे, लेकिन जैसे मैंने पहले भी बोला है, बनाने गए थे बटलर, बना गए हमको अपने ही भाषा में बेहतरीन राइटर, बिकॉज आवर पीपल यूज देयर लैंग्वेज टू शो द ग्लोरी ऑफ इंडिया. Then you are seeing the establishment of schools for English education, such as the Presidency College in Calcutta and Elphinstone College in Bombay. These contributed to the spread of English, the language. Right now, we are not really looking at literature, it comes later, but this is the starting point. This is from where it takes off. Then slowly Indians learn English, then they become proficient in English, and then they write in English. So this is the early development. Now we are seeing the role of missionaries and education, which is the early 19th century. The missionaries played a significant role in the spread of English education. They established schools, colleges, offering English as a medium of instruction alongside the religious education. The English language was seen as a means to spread Western knowledge, including science, literature, philosophy. Institutions like Serampore College in West Bengal played a pioneering role in English education. तो अंग्रेज़ों की बनाई हुई जो कॉलेजेस थी, हमारे फिल्मों में भी बहुत मशहूर है, हमारे फिल्मों में भी हमने बहुत दिखाया है, लाइक ये वाला तो याद ही होगा, मोहब्बतें वाला, एंड दिस वन फ्रॉम स्टूडेंट ऑफ द ईयर. ऐसे कॉलेजेस जिसमें ऑन स्क्रीन पढ़ाई के अलावा हर एक चीज़ होती थी. तो पीछे जो कॉलेज आपको दिखाई दे रहा है, दैट इज़ इन देहरादून, दैट वाज शोन इन द फिल्म. सो दीज आर ऑल मेड बाय अंग्रेज. All of these colleges are established by the Britishers. This was of course a fictional portrayal, please don't mind the dance here. But here is an actual college. This is Serampore College in West Bengal. So basically, it is these colleges that first gave Indians the knowledge and education in English language. So in short, you have a few of the acts and commissions by East India Company that played a role in defining Indian English literature. There was the Charter Act of 1813, which um, gave 1 lakh rupees annually for the promotion of education. Then you have the Sadler Commission 1917 to 1919. This Sadler Commission, it helped the Calcutta University, or in it laid an initiative in the history of Indian education. It addressed and made recommendations for the reforms in university education, ultimately influencing the trajectory of education in India and contributing to the evolution of the country's education system. Then you have the Macaulay's Minute of 1835. So the introduction of English education received a significant boost with Thomas Babington Macaulay's famous Minute on Education in 1835. Macaulay argued that for the primacy of English as the medium of instruction, stating that it would create a class of Indians which are Indian in blood and color but English in taste, opinions, morals and intellect. तो बेसिकली इंडियंस को अंग्रेज़ी फ्लेयर और फ्लेवर देने के लिए दिस मैकॉलेज मिनट was established, and this is what brought English to India. All of these things, the Woods Dispatch of 1854, also known as the Magna Carta of English education in India. Then you have the Hunter Commission of Education 1882. This included examining the curriculum, the quality of instruction and the state of educational institutions, and the role of vernacular and English languages in education. So our languages, our Indian languages plus English together. Then you have the prominent Indian leaders and reforms which shaped the progress of Indian English education. तो पहले जो हमने देखा, these are all British or the commissions by East India Company that have given a push for English education, and here are our own. So there was the Gokhale's Bill 1912. Gokhale's Bill of 1912, officially known as the Indian Universities Bill of 1912, was a crucial legislative proposal introduced by Gopal Krishna Gokhale, an influential Indian political reformer leader during the British colonial period. The bill aimed to reform the Indian university system and address several pressing issues within the realm of education. Then you have Mahatma Gandhi's use of English. Mahatma Gandhi was a prolific writer of political essays, letters and articles in English. तो उन्होंने freedom को लेकर, हमारे इंडिपेंडेंस मूवमेंट को लेकर जो भी ऑपोजिशन था अगेंस्ट द ब्रिटिश, वो इंग्लिश में लिखा. सो देयर ऑल्सो यू आर सीइंग प्रोग्रेस एंड ग्रोथ ऑफ इंडियंस writing in English and studying in English. Then you have the participation in legislative councils, which was done by leaders like Jawaharlal Nehru, B.R. Ambedkar and others who used their proficiency in English to participate in legislative councils, where they advocated the rights for Indians or Indian constitutional rights and reforms. So यहाँ हमारे leaders ने भी English में आवाज़ उठाई और हिला दिया ब्रिटिश राज का पार्लियामेंट. सो फाइनली यू हैव राजा राम मोहन रॉय. राजा राम मोहन रॉय also he was an elite educated upper class Indian. He has established several schools and provided education in English and modern subjects. One of the notable institutions he founded was the Anglo-Hindu school in Calcutta in 1817. This school aimed to provide English education in India, which was a rare thing, which was a rare occurrence. Then you have the Bombay Native School. This was also one of the early educational efforts of 1700s to early 1800s. This was established by Jonathan Duncan, the governor of Bombay, and established this Bombay Native School, which aimed to provide education in English and vernacular languages. तो इस तरह से पूरी हिस्ट्री चल रही है. एक एक बिल के बाद एक एक इंस्टीट्यूशन बनाई जा रही है, प्रोविजंस बनाए जा रहे हैं कि इंडियंस को इंग्लिश सिखाया जाए, और इंडियंस ने भी कोई मौका नहीं छोड़ा. जो उनके कॉलोनाइजर्स की भाषा थी उसमें उसी को सीखकर उन्हीं को मात दी, as I had said in the beginning. And finally we have reached, through all of these bills, all of these reforms, all of these acts, we have finally reached the phase of literature and creative writing in India. So Indian English literature thrived post-independence with authors like R.K. Narayan, Mulk Raj Anand, Arundhati Roy, Salman Rushdie gaining international recognition. Themes explored include post-colonial identity, social issues, and cultural diversity. So we are finally in the phase in which we are seeing भाषा है फिरंगों की, लेकिन जलवा है हमारे अपने रंगों की. And with that we are coming to media and journalism. English language newspapers and magazines played a significant role in shaping public discourse and disseminating information. The prominent publications include the Times of India, the Hindu and the Express. ये सारे newspapers हैं, हालांकि हमारे आजकल के बच्चे सिर्फ पेज 3 पढ़ते हैं, उसके आगे नहीं बढ़ते. But these are the newspapers, the periodicals, and many other publications that made its contribution in bringing English to the ordinary public of India. Now, as we are closing off, we will see some very important pointers on Indian novelists, or rather say Indian English novelists. Indian English novelists have made a significant contribution to world literature, blending in rich cultural tapestry of India with the English language. Here's an overview of their introduction, literary background and characteristics. तो हमने ना ही सिर्फ हमारे कंट्री में, हमारे देश में अपने ग्लोरी के बारे में लिखा, अपने इंडियंस को समझाया द हिस्ट्री, द ग्लोरी, द ग्रेटनेस, द ग्रैंडर ऑफ इंडिया, लेकिन हमने कहीं ना कहीं वर्ल्ड लिटरेचर में भी अपना कंट्रीब्यूशन दे दिया है. So here we are getting to see some of the interesting aspects of Indian English novelists or Indian English literature, and this is the last thing for today's class. Indian English novelist literary background. So here are some of the key pointers which we remember or which we should keep in mind when we are learning Indian literature in English. Oh, yes.
Sorry, it was just a mistake.
No problem, dear, no problem. Okay, so we are seeing the colonial legacy, we are seeing post-independence, bilingualism, cultural diversity, identity and diaspora, post-colonialism, partition, literature. So bilingualism is, in India we have our native languages and we have English, so we use both these together to form an interesting work. So if it's Maharashtra, we'll use Marathi plus English, so that becomes bilingual. Or they went ahead, our writers went ahead and used the state language plus Hindi plus English. So that brings a distinguished and unique flavor to Indian writing in English. Then you have cultural diversity, in which our novels or our novelists explore the multifaceted nature of Indian culture, traditions and societal complexity. They often highlight the clash between tradition and modernity. Then you have identity and diaspora. Many Indian English novelists, especially those in the diaspora like Salman Rushdie, tackle issues of identity, exile and hybrid cultural identities of Indians living abroad. Social realism, you have your novel by Arvind Adiga. So the White Tiger, when you look at the White Tiger, you're getting to see how Arvind Adiga has shown the harsh realities of contemporary Indian society, including poverty, corruption, and social inequalities. Then you have magical realism. This is the novel The Midnight's Children by Salman Rushdie. This is a style used by authors like Salman Rushdie, categorized by the blending of fantastical elements with real life situations. It has an element of magic and it has reality or real problems right from the independence era till emergency, and he has this way created a unique narrative. And here is our last slide for today's lecture. So here are some common terms or features that we get to see in Indian writing in English. Post-colonialism, we see writers exploring themes related to identity, cultural conflicts, and social change in the post-colonial context. After India gained independence in 1947, then you have partition literature. You have your very famous works like Train to Pakistan by Khushwant Singh. You have so many Indian films that are portraying this in a dramatic manner, in a melodramatic manner, whichever way. If you have the film Gadar by Sunny Deol also, this basically refers to works that focus on the trauma, the traumatic events of 1947 and the partition of India and whatever followed, its aftermath. Then you have nativism, जिसमें आपको ये देखने मिल रहा है कि इंडियन राइटर्स बता रहे हैं कि वी आर रिजेक्टिंग और क्रिटिसाइजिंग वेस्टर्न वैल्यूज एंड प्रमोटिंग इंडिजीनियस कल्चर. Then you have feminism. You have many Indian novelists writing, showing their Nari Shakti in feminist themes in which the status of women in society is questioned, challenged, analyzed, and studied in depth. Then colonial legacy. Indian English literature has its root in the British colonial era when the English was introduced in India. Writers like Raja Ram Mohan Roy and Bankim Chandra Chattopadhyay wrote early works that laid the foundation of this genre. Then you have post-independence. Post-colonialism and post-independence is quite similar, but there is a slight difference. Here you are seeing that in the theme of post-independence, you are seeing that Indian English literature was further evolved. Writers began to explore themes related to identity, their personal issues, social issues, cultural conflicts, and how our country changed in this great phase. Finally, you have hybridity. Hybridity describes the blending of cultures and identities often seen in Indian English novels due to the interplay of Indian and Western influence. So what is this? This is basically Takrar Mein Ikrar, where you're seeing दो कल्चर्स की टक्कर हो रही है, इंडियन एंड वेस्टर्न कल्चर्स की टक्कर हो रही है, एंड वो ब्लेंड हो रही है, आपस में घुल रहे हैं, मिल रहे हैं और कुछ नया बन रहा है दो कल्चर्स के मिलने से, एंड दिस इज पोर्ट्रेड इन आवर नॉवेल्स. So this is how finally, through all these things that we have looked at above, all these pointers, Indian English novelists came into being, and they are the writers of Indian origin who choose to express themselves in the English language. With this, we come to the close of our lecture. So they brought about a literary tradition that emerged during the British colonial period and has today taken center stage. So thank you for bearing with me, and see you all in the next lecture.